Welcome back, Millsy here, and today in this video we're going to be discussing the top 5 things to do in a fresh start in the game Sons of the Forest. So kind of as a note, where you crash is randomized to a few different regions. For me personally, I had 2 runs where I was crashed on the mountain, so I was completely engulfed in snow. I do not recommend starting in this area and establishing a base due to the fact that when you have Kelvin dropping off materials for you, it will literally just fall into the snow and you can't find it. You just kind of hope that you come across the icons that say pick it up. This actually happened to me quite a bit when Virginia was dropping off her gifts to me. They were all instantly buried in the snow and I couldn't find like 2 of her gifts. So this brings me to my first tip, and these are in no particular order. Don't feel pressured to establish a base close to where you crashed. Explore a bit. In the locations that you crash, there are bins scattered everywhere. You'll want to open those up and loot what's inside. Keep note that when you log out of the game and log back in, they are magically full again. The reason why you may not want to establish a base where you crashed is that you may be smack dab right in the middle of 2 camps, or let alone right next to one. I know when I finally crashed on the coast, just up the river a bit is a cannibal camp. When I chop down trees, I'll often find them crab walking over to my logs and scooting them away to try and steal them from me and Kelvin. So maximize your efficiency in choosing a spot that's going to be equidistant away from the bunkers and caves you want to go to and away from the camps. What I found myself doing is before I even establish a base where I'm going to settle, I'm visiting the landmarks that are on my GPS. Which brings me to tip number 2. Get to the 3D printer as fast as possible. The 3D printer is found inside a cave and bunker in between 2 purple dots on the GPS, or refer to this map. This 3D printer allows you to print off a mask that helps you ward off the cannibals from attacking you. Not the muddies, who are the ones that cover themselves in mud, just the cannibals. You can also print off a water flask which you can fill up with fresh water out of a stream. If you happen to come across various empty camps or locations that you can loot, oftentimes you can find some resin for the 3D printer and have more than enough resin to print off those 2 things, plus some mesh pieces for crafting high-tech armor, which is exactly what I did. It drastically increases your survivability. Tip number 3, use your companions. Get Kelvin up immediately from the crash site and put him to work. I usually have him first make a pile of sticks so I can build up the different storages like the log, stick, and stone, and bone storages. Then I just basically have him spam logs the whole time, filling up the mass of log storages that I will have. Once Virginia shows up, don't be alarmed. She will eventually just become your companion. No fancy tricks that you do can lure her in or warm her up. Just wait for her to come to you with some gifts, and after the 3rd gift, you can then interact with her and give her weapons. She is basically a walking turret for you. I have a video on this that I will pin up top. So tip number 4. Use the rivers for logging. As funny as it may sound, there are a lot of natural dams in some of these rivers in the forest, and what I would do is just walk along the shore and chop the tree so it went down into the water. The currents carry the logs down. Then Kelvin is at a natural dam or a dam I would make to stop the logs, and then he would put them into storage. It just makes for super fast log gathering, rather than just carrying 2 logs at a time, since we can no longer use that log carrier from the forest. And the 5th and final tip is build defenses for your base. Build walls so that it's harder for the cannibals to just walk right into your camp and either steal or destroy what you have. Oftentimes I found that if there are more than 1 cannibal trying to attack and there's 1 doorway that they can get through, they'll oftentimes funnel into that doorway and you can just take care of them with spears, holding all your good weapons and ammo for cave dwelling or larger mutants on the island. I tried to keep this video as short and succinct as possible and get straight to the point. Those are my top 5 tips. And if you guys like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Helps me out. It's completely free for you. Keep in mind that I will also be producing a lot of Sons of the Forest content. I also have in the works a dedicated server once all that stuff starts going. So if we end up getting to 1,000 subs by the time that the dedicated servers come out, I'd love to have members join me on my dedicated server and you know, do playthroughs with all you guys. So go ahead and keep that in mind when hitting that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.